a lot of anecdotal reports about, pain relief and just mental clarity and the energy, which, but how do you evaluate some of these scientifically? So I'll just stick with some of the human studies, the clinical studies that have been done. Some of the smaller ones, for example, there was one in Parkinson's disease. It was small, only 100 patients, and not very long. It was just 1 year. But it was a double-blinded, placebo-controlled, randomized study, and they found that the administration of molecular hydrogen or drinking hydrogen-rich water was effective in helping the Parkinson's disease rating score. And there's another study with rheumatoid arthritis, and that was very powerful. It was a very small study, but it was very powerful because they even found that some of the patients with early-stage rheumatoid arthritis had a remission of the disease symptoms. And that corroborates strongly with a lot of the anecdotal testimonials that I have heard people say of how effective the hydrogen has been for their arthritis.
Right.
And so there's now a larger study going on, about 178 patients or so with the rheumatoid arthritis, and a double-blinded randomized clinical trial to see how effective that really is. There's some other studies, of course, in metabolic syndrome. So we're talking about hypertension, hypercholesterolaemia, just the obesity, and hydrogen is able to improve a lot of those symptoms. There's, of course, a lot of studies in the animal models. For example, we just published an article recently on hydrogen helping to prevent the development of autism by a chemical exposure to, and of course, the chemical-induced autism and the ingestion of hydrogen-rich water was effective at decreasing those effects. Also, we published another one in Scientific Reports on hydrogen helping to mitigate or attenuate the anxiety and depressive-like behaviors induced by acute and chronic stress. And I think a lot of people suffer from stress. And this is a great animal model that we used, and it was showed that hydrogen was effective at helping prevent those toxic effects. And also working on another study right now on the non-alcoholic fatty acid liver disease, which a lot of people suffer from because of the diets they choose and the high-fat diets and lack of exercise. And it's very clear hydrogen has a great effect on that as well.
All the consumption of fructose. Kids today have fatty liver. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's very interesting, that the fructose area of how it's metabolized glycolytically primarily is similar to ethanol.